Just over a week ago, I visited Oddfest, a new festival based in Helsinki, situated in Lasipalazzi Cortili, between an old-fashioned row of shops, which these days has a museum thrown in, and a newly renovated huge bar in the heart of Helsinki. I thought this would be more of a conference with some music thrown in. Well, it was and it wasn't. 2 days of music, tech and media talks, films, presentations and some other oddness. All in English too, it seemed. And finishing at a reasonable time, i.e. before midnight, for an old man like myself. Well, what could go wrong, I thought. Some of my highlights. Friday. Despite some timing issues which led to a sound check attended by nearly the entire audience, Carla Arcray and her band played a great set of folk-tinged songs, occasionally hitting triumphant musical highs and often understated melodic lows. I really enjoyed this one. Drugstore Raid came on straight afterwards, so I missed them taking to the stage. Now, picture if you will Talking Heads in 1978, although this band is more smartly dressed, it must be said. The sound, a singer with the watered-down personality of David Byrne, which is more than enough if you've seen That Interview, you'll know what I mean, a female bass player, and add a saxophone. That's Drugstore Raid. Powering through an exciting mix of punk, jazz funk, no-wave, pop and indie dance, as the Oddfest website states, this is a reasonably new band, but they certainly have an uncompromising sound and an energy missing from many modern bands. On to the Saturday, and Maxime Bachert, the CEO of Meridian Agency, was hosting a talk entitled Unconventional Ways of Building Community on Social Media. As SoMe is something I've struggled with since Facebook used to be the main method of communication, I thought I'd take an open mind and a notepad along. This was interesting and involved some audience interaction too. Interesting stuff, and you'll all get to see if it works over the next few months as I try out a bunch of stuff I got ideas for during the presentation. Probably the highlight of the whole event for me was People, a music film by Vincent Moon. In this documentary, the viewer is taken on a journey during 1 week in 2018. A bunch of musicians, many of them household names, gathered for 5 days of experimentation, writing and creating music, with a little dance too, in Berlin. The aim was to produce pieces to be performed on the Saturday and Sunday at the end of the week. The audience, in an equally creative way, were given wristbands of various colours and went to see various performances based on the colour of their band, meaning they had no idea who they would see or hear either. There isn't much dialogue in the film, with Moon choosing instead to tell the story through the music and occasional voiceovers, never knowing who is speaking as they don't show the faces of those speaking anyway. Unique, much like the event itself, this is well worth checking out for any passionate music head like myself. The film is also available on YouTube in full, so you can see what I mean. General observations on the festival? Well, the site was easy to navigate, although I never found a sitemap online. There was a picture of it published via a post on Instagram. It always seemed quite free from people, which for me is a great thing. Always easy to move around, but sadly for the artists on the main stage during the day at least, it meant there was no one anywhere near the stage, preferring instead to sit on the tubes which rise at awkward angles from the museum below. Interestingly, there was no food on site. Instead, the event had chosen to partner with restaurants geographically close to the site, which to be fair wasn't an issue as there are bucket loads of them in the area. I never had to queue for a toilet either. There were either portaloos or real toilets close to every stage, and the portaloos next to the main stage had some amazing artwork on them. See the socials for pics. I have to be honest, I'm a pretty random person, as any regular listeners to this podcast probably realise by now. For that reason, this was my perfect festival. You don't really have to decide what to do, as you can wander and find something interesting without really trying. The lack of queues was a pleasurable experience, and it doesn't matter where you're from in Helsinki, or even as a visitor to the city. The location is outstanding, as all roads lead to Helsinki. Well, let's see what happens, but if there is an Oddfest in 2026, I'd love to be a part of it again.